You are listening to the Postcast presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and our Postcast presenting sponsor, the Glebe Central Pub. Guys, Glebe Central Pub is your neighborhood pub in the heart of Glebe. Great people, great food, and tasty drinks. There's no better spot to watch the Sens game. I'm Brandon Pillar along with Laleem's Martian here. And Martian, it's always a blast doing the Postcast, but so much better after a W. The Ottawa Senators get a 3-2 win over the Nashville Predators in Nashville. And thank goodness the dads don't have to leave with another L on the column there, as the Ottawa Senators can send them home happy. And they probably got a green light in Nashville tonight, Martian, with all the dads maybe hitting up some country bars here. How are you feeling about this win, Martian?
Oh, baby, Pilsy. I love a win for the dads on the road here. This was a very nice little W for the boys. I thought they came out flying. It was a bit of a weird one, though, don't you think, with some of the officiating calls and some of the action that was going on behind the play and on the bench, too. Let's not forget there was some chaos happening on the Ottawa Senators bench, too. So really happy that they were able to pull off the win in this one. That's for sure.
Yeah, no kidding. And Eric, thank you for the Spliff Fund donation. Probably going to put that to use later on. But yeah, someone that could use a bit of a donation is Travis Hamonic from Thomas Chabot's massive contract. I mean, that's like shades of, I forgot who the player was, but remember Thomas Vokoun getting absolutely destroyed, his defenseman too handsome right in the face.
I thought of the same
after
thing,
a goal.
yeah.
I mean, but this one's tough because you're on the bench and Hamonic's just sitting there, and I don't know, what is Chabot thinking? Like, I know he's obviously pissed, but what are you thinking is going to happen when you swing your stick across like that? Sheesh.
I don't know if he thought there was like room there, or if he thought maybe he didn't notice that Hamonic was still there. He thought maybe he was the guy at the end of the bench, but I know that the stanchion was right there, and that's what he was trying to break his stick off. And I guess he broke his stick in the follow through, came right into Hamonic's face. So that was tough. That was tough to see. I don't like seeing my Sens beat each other up like that. And obviously Chabot was, he was pretty apologetic on that right away. I feel like obviously a complete accident. But like when you talk about the state of the Ottawa Senators, there's a lot of big hockey accounts out there who love to laugh at us, and something like that's going to give them tons of ammo.
Yeah, but taking away some ammo, how about a big W for the Ottawa Senators? As that stat at the end of the game, the Sens haven't got a win in Nashville since January of 2014. My God. It had been 8 years since the Ottawa Senators did that. So much needed. Martian, as we always do, let's go through the scoring summary here, as it was a bit of a sleepy first period. I mentioned in the group that it seemed like an uninspiring game here, the afternoon game. Sometimes they're hard to get up for. And Nashville, there's not really a good rivalry there, other than the fact that if you go back to 2017, the Ottawa Senators would have destroyed the Predators in the Stanley Cup final. But other than that, there's not too much heated between these two teams. Hit the like for a big dub. Thanks, Mitch. Definitely that is much needed for the win here. But the first goal happens in the second period, really late here. And it's a chip and chase play. This is tough for Brandy because he kind of gets double teamed. He does get the puck, but he turns it over right away. And then Trennan gets the loose puck and just rips it past Talbot. That was pretty deflating because I don't know about you, Martian, but it felt like the Ottawa Senators, I would say, were dominating, but they were controlling this game before that goal. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say that they were having like I even tweeted it out. I thought they were having like a really good road game so far up to that point. They were like, getting it down low and grinding it out, getting good amount of shots on goal. They were making things happen, and that was just kind of an unfortunate thing there for Brandstrom. And I thought he was also kind of having a decent game up until that point. Yeah. But that was just one of those things where with Brandstrom, his the things that he does well don't usually translate to much as far as like tangible scores or anything like that for. No kidding. Obviously we know he hasn't. Has it been 100 games now? He hasn't scored a goal. I think it has, right?
It's got to be, yeah.
It's at 99. We're extremely close. So usually when he is doing good things, it doesn't lead to goals. But on the other side of things, when he's doing things poorly out there, it's so noticeable because usually it ends up in the back of the Sens net, and that's just another one of those things right here with him on this goal where he loses that battle. And then, sure enough, the other guys, it's kind of a breakdown there, and ends up in the back of the net. That Trennan guy, I don't know what it is with him. I had a feeling like from the beginning of this game, like, why do I feel like this plug is going to score? And sure enough, he did.
Ricochet shot at Trennan there. But yeah, that gives the Nashville Predators a 1-0 lead. And then the Ottawa Senators, they get a power play late in the period. Too many men for Nashville with 30 seconds left. You're thinking, all right, we're going to get an offensive zone faceoff. Let's get a goal here to end the period. And that's exactly what happened. But before the goal, Martian, I want to note that Mark Kastelik with a nice hit that lays out Lauzon. And Lauzon, he's down and out. He's kind of holding his wrist. He needs to get off. So the Preds are essentially a man down at that point. And that helps the Sens because there's a mad scramble in front of the net. Saros down and out. And when a guy that's like 5'10" is down and out as a goalie, you're not going to be able to scramble and get your body in front of loose pucks. So Saros isn't able to do that. Giroux puts away the goal. It looked like they were going to challenge that for goaltender interference. But, I mean, these days, who the hell knows what goaltender interference was? Martian, were you nervous that was going to get called back?
I was, because I mean, I'm just so used to the Sens having their goals called back in situations like that. But yeah, that was a really nice hit by Casti there. And I felt like they really needed to score before that. I think they had 30 seconds left in the period, and they started that 30 seconds on the power play there.
They did, yep.
And we know what the Sens record is going into the third period, down a goal, right? So at that point, they were down a goal. So they really needed to tie it up because, I mean, that's basically all she wrote for the Sens when they're going down, even just by one into the third period, right? Yeah. With their inability to come back late in games and things. So that was huge to get that goal. And, I mean, Claude Giroux, man, this guy is such a leader. He just is clutch all the time for them now, and it's a shame that they're not having a better season, right? Because he's really been coming in as advertised, and yeah, it was great to see him finish the play there, and then they can go into the third period all tied up. That's what we like.
Yep, huge momentum goal, as that's just, I think, a couple minutes after Nashville opens the scoring. 7 seconds left. They go into the third, tied 1-1, and the next goal, oh my God, like, Alex DeBrincat is such a weird player these days. Like, it's a 2-on-1, and Ross and I were talking about this last time. Alex DeBrincat had a 2-on-1 in the previous game. He's not even thinking about shooting that puck. Like, it doesn't even cross his mind that, hey, I'm on a 2-on-1. Maybe he doesn't even fake selling the shot. Like, he's just 100%, I'm so down in the dumps, I can't shoot anything. I'm going to pass it here. Well, the hockey gods give him a little break here because he goes to pass it to Batherson on the back door, and Fabro knocks it right 5-hole on UC Saros. And of course, Alex DeBrincat scores a goal where he's not meaning to shoot it, and it goes off a Nashville player and in. You know what? It's frustrating, but I'll take it, and I'm sure Alex DeBrincat will take it. How do you feel about that play, Martian? Did you how are you feeling when DeBrincat's coming in on a 2-on-1 and doesn't even think about shooting it? I know I'm getting on him in a play that he scores, but it still frustrates me.
I know, it's funny. Actually, I had a shower during the intermission, and this is weird to say, but I was thinking about Alex DeBrincat while I was in the shower today.
All right, as most of us do, yeah.
I was kind of thinking that, and this was the first intermission. I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, what? This guy, like, he comes over and he's supposed to be this big goal scorer, right? And I know the points are there still, and that, but man, this guy, like, I've been saying it almost since the beginning of the year. It's almost like he has. I call it the yips, but like he has the, like, he doesn't shoot when he's supposed to shoot, and when he does shoot, he misses. Or he even had an open net today where he hit the post. Like, this is a weird one where it's like, maybe this is the kind of goal that DeBrincat needs to, like.
How many times have we said that this year, though?
I know, but like, man, like, I mean, and this was going to be a really nice pass cross the crease to Drake Batherson. It was going to be a goal one way or another here, I think. But that was just a lucky one there. And Fabro with the own goal, it was a great deflection by him there. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely Fabro.
But I mean, with DeBrincat, I don't know, man. Like, I really don't know what's going on with this guy. It's so strange. I feel like he's just going to, like, the floodgates will just open eventually for him. And we've heard from Chicago fans and people who have watched him play over his career that he does kind of tend to get off to a slower start for the first quarter of the season. So we'll see. But I'm afraid to look at the comments also right now after saying I was thinking about DeBrincat in the shower, but it was good.
No one's giving it to you.
Anytime he gets a goal, I'm happy. I've stopped going to betonline.ag and putting down money on him scoring goals because I feel like he's just got no consistency.
Good call. Yeah, that's probably helping you in your gambling streak, which you've been pretty hot in. That's
I've
for
been
sure.
very hot. Yeah.
So at that point, that puts the Sens up 2-1. And then some penalties happen here. DeBrincat, he gets into some rough stuff in the corner. He was just, I don't know if he's just frustrated or what, but he was pissed. I forget what player he was on top of, but he was really just going after him. That's obviously a roughing penalty. But luckily, Forsberg, man, the only thing I noticed about Philip Forsberg in this game was how many penalties he took. He must have had 3, maybe even 4 penalties, because he roughs up Nikita Zaitsev. A clear boarding penalty hits him right in the numbers. So that makes it 4-on-4. And this is a weird play because the Nashville Predators are putting the pressure on the Sens, and the puck goes right through the crease. Talbot is outside of the blue paint. It goes right through the crease. Brady Tkachuk gets it. Good heads up play. He hits Batherson with a perfect tape to tape pass in stride, leads him on a breakaway. And this is when Drake Batherson is at his best. When you're seeing the confidence, Ross and I, we saw this in Belleville so many times. When he's confident on a breakaway, you might as well just put the red light on and save yourself a couple extra seconds because he's so lethal. And he pulls off the Datsuk little flip floater as he drags it back and just chips it over Saros' glove. Saros is not ready for that whatsoever. That's one of the nicer goals we've seen all season, eh?
Oh yeah, that was
Beauty.
very Datsukian, and that's where I think everybody's kind of seen that goal come from, where you kind of give that little chip shot and off speed shot throws the goalie right off, and it's really tripped up Saros because he almost fell on his face, like trying to catch it. He's like, oh man, I got totally hosed
The
on that
old
one.
change up.
Yeah, big time change up. But yeah, that was a sweet, and we know Batherson's capable of that kind of nifty move, right? Where he's very silky in around the net, and he's got great hands and soft hands at that. So yeah, I'm happy to watch that all day long. That's a good goal. That's a fun goal, and everybody watching that is kind of like, ooh, look at this, right? And that's one of those ones where it's a real eye opener.
Yeah, an eye opener for sure. And it's funny because they were reviewing this goal, and I was like, oh my God, is this an offside goal? But they were just reviewing to see if it's going to count on the power play or not. I was actually hoping that wasn't going to count on the power play because Ross and I have gone over in episodes of the Locked On Senators podcast this week how brutal that second line has been even strength. So
how good
it would have been nice just to get them an even strength goal just because they haven't been able to do that. But I'm sure Batherson is pretty stoked about getting that one on the power play there. That makes it 3-1. The Sens are feeling pretty good at this point, but you just knew Nashville was going to push back a little bit, and they get a breakout. Nino Niederreiter, one of the more underrated signings of the offseason. I thought that was a sneaky, very good move by the Predators to kind of replace that secondary scoring that left when Victor Arvidsson was traded to the LA Kings. Very similar type guys, Niederreiter and Arvidsson, in my opinion. And he does what I want Alex DeBrincat to do. He's just skating along the wing and rips a clean wrister right past Talbot. It'd be nice if DeBrincat could even think about doing that these days. But that makes it 3-2. And at this point, you're feeling a little bit nervous about the Sens because are they going to let this lead slip away? The dads are here. You can't let this happen. But I think probably, in my opinion, this might be the TSN turning point. Duchesne getting that double minor penalty because at that point, I think there's only 4.5 minutes left. And now 4 of those minutes or less, if the Sens score, are going to be spent shorthanded by the Nashville Predators. What was your feeling on that play? And also, it's interesting to note that now they can review those plays. I think earlier on, none of the refs saw it and would have just been like, well, we know you're bleeding and you're hurt, Brass, but we didn't see it. What can we do? But now you can review that, which I think is great.
Yeah, it is great that they're able to review those double minor penalties when a guy's bleeding. But yeah, it was kind of a strange one, because like Batherson was almost, Broussard was almost hooking him going through the middle, right? Because he was maybe a little baby step behind, and he kind of threw him off balance, and then the stick comes back from Duchesne and it clips him, and he goes down, and the whistle goes, and they didn't call the penalty right away, but going to the review and seeing what happened and then being able to make the call. Luckily, that hooking isn't reviewable because I think they're probably watching that go, oh, he kind of hooked him there, but like they're there to review that high stick, right? And so, yeah, they saw what they saw and what everyone else saw. And that's a nice, easy way to finish the last 5 minutes of a game, right? When you got the man advantage. The Sens were just on autopilot from there on out, and they just played keep away for the most part on that power play. Although there was a couple scary moments during it where I was like, "Holy crap, boys! Like you're on the PP here. Like let's go." But they also didn't allow Nashville to get enough possession where they pulled their own goalie and kind of evened things up on the ice. But yeah, it was good. Got good way to close it out. Nice and easy. I love that. I wish they could finish all their games with a 4-minute power play.
I know, that'd be great, eh? And yeah, like you're saying, Matt Duchene, when they're reviewing the penalty, he's sitting on the bench. He's thinking, yeah, go look at it. You're going to see Brass hooks me, and that's what causes the penalty. But Noodles made a good point. When it's not the follow-through of a pass or a shot, you have to be responsible for your stick. And Duchene's not responsible for his stick there. And regardless of how it happens, his stick hits Brass in the face. He's bleeding. That's a penalty. It's kind of cut and dried like that, unfortunately for Duchene. Fortunately for the Ottawa Senators. And yeah, this is where DeBrincat, one-timer, wide open net, rings off the post. I mean, DeBrincat's hit quite a few posts this season, and it seems like it's always when the net is wide open. Like, that's the frustrating thing. Like, if he gets 2 or 3 of those, maybe you're thinking, okay, like he's not as hot as we thought, but he's chugging along here. But he just cannot seem to score those easy goals for a guy who's known as a sniper. That should, like, he should be doing that in his sleep, eyes closed, tucked in, and just sniping those in the net all day long. But he hits the post on him.
I know, like even if he was burying half the chances like that, what he's had this season, like he would have 12 or 15 goals this year. He'd easily have 10. Like 10 would be a done deal. It's actually kind of funny. Like he's got 7, which is an okay number. But like, he could easily have 15 already at this point, twice as many.
He's only projected, courtesy of our friends over at Elite Prospects, they do the projected stats. He's only projected to get 20 goals this year, which, sure, 20 goals is 20 goals, but that's disappointing from Alex Brink. That's half of what we're expecting from him.
And he's going to start, like, this can't go on. Like, he's not going to keep missing these chances. Like, he's going to put them in. He's an NHL hockey player. Like, he's not going to stop getting these chances either because he is so smart out there, and he's a great offensive player. He does create a lot still. So I still think that he's gonna hit 30 goals.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope so. I don't know if I'm as convinced, Martian, but I do hope so. One thing I am convinced of and do know is if I was in Ottawa, I'm jealous of all you guys. You got Shawarma Palace, you get the farm to fork deliveries too. You got all the great stuff. But I'd be at Glebe Central Pub watching these games. It is the place to watch an Ottawa Sens game. They do the shuttle from the bar right to the arena. Go check out their website for dates that they're doing that. And you gotta love, Ross is going to pull up the website right here, Glebe Central Pub. And one thing I like about Glebe Central Pub, I was checking out their menu. You can get pickled eggs there. That is a throwback bar item. The pickled egg, which I don't think anyone goes to a bar being like, oh yeah, I'm getting a pickled egg. But after a couple pops and you're just looking for something to munch on, once in a while, a pickled egg will do the trick. They've also got wings. They've got waffle fries. They got it all. And yes, Ross has pulled up the games where the shuttle are available. We're looking at December 22nd, December 23rd. You could do back-to-back games at Glebe and get the shuttle. That would be a lot of fun. And also the 27th and the 14th. So lots of options here. Guys, go check out the Glebe Central Pub. It's your friendly neighborhood pub in the heart of Glebe. Great people, great food, tasty drinks. Check them out at 779 Bank Street and tell them, honestly, let them know the Locked On Senators podcast sent you. We love our partnership with our friends over at Glebe Central Pub. All right, Martian. So we did the scoring summary. 3-2, your Ottawa Senators win in Nashville. As our guest on the Postcast, I will graciously hand it over to you. Who is your Sen Central standout, brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub?
Easy choice for the Glebe Central standout here for me today. It's Drake Batherson, and I've been I think I've been a little bit harder on him than previous seasons, that's for sure, with some of his play throughout this year so far. He hasn't really, I know, again, like the points are there for him, but he hasn't entirely looked himself. But tonight, I felt like he really looked like himself out there tonight, right? Like he was creating offense. He was getting tons of shots on goal. He had, I think, 5 shots on goal. Yeah, and he was just kind of all over the ice tonight. He had obviously the game winner, which was a beauty. I mean, we can't talk enough about that beautiful breakaway goal.
Nice.
He had a nice assist as well, and credited for 3 hits as well out there, and almost he did. He led all Senators forwards in ice time as well. So obviously DJ kind of noticing that he was feeling it tonight.
I like that pick, Martian. That was going to be mine if you didn't go for it. And I'm just looking at his game logs here because it seems like he's been quietly hot here. And since the win against the Ducks, he's had 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 points in those 8 or 9 games. My math isn't great. You guys know I'm not a math guy, but he's been hot lately here. So definitely Drake Batherson, as we've been hard on him, deserves a bit of shine here. I like that pick, Martian. For my Sen Central Standout, presented by the Glebe Central Pub, hashtag goalie friendly show, I'm going Cam Talbot. Like, I thought he was really good here. He had to stop a couple really big saves. Like, in that final stretch, Yossi had one-timer from the point, and it's not so much that shot that I'm amazed, that I'm impressed that he saved. It's the fact that there's no rebound, because there's no one in the lane. He sees it. Still Roman Yossi, the defenseman who had the most points by far last season. I think they were saying on the broadcast he had 96 points as a defenseman last year. Absolutely insane. But the fact that Talbot doesn't allow a rebound there is what's huge. And I've been really applauding Talbot for his rebound control here because it's been very good. And I thought he made a lot of great saves throughout the game. Now, sure, the Trennan goal you'd like to have back, and the Niederreiter one where he just comes down the wing and rips one. That's a good shot, though, so you can't be too upset there. But I thought Cam Talbot had a great game, and he's deserving of some shine.
Yeah, Pilsy, I like that choice again there, buddy. A goalie-friendly show. I actually thought you were going to go a different direction because we were talking about that second line, and I thought maybe Shane Pinto. The 2 assist performance that I thought he was buzzing tonight too, as the rest of that line was as well. You think maybe he's a candidate for the goggles?
I thought Pinto definitely was a guy that played well, and not only did he get 2 assists, Martian, but I'm just double checking it here. He was pretty good in the dot, 57% in the dot, so you don't mind that. A couple of guys having good nights in the dot. Brady goes 50%. DeBrincat 1 for 1. Timmy 60%, 3 for 5. Not too shabby there. Claude Giroux does what he does. 9 for 14, good for 65%. Casty, a tough one. 2 for 8, 25%. So not so great there. And just mentioned Pinto, 8 for 14. And then Derek Brassard goes 4 for 6 for 67%. So pretty decent here.
Yeah. You just saying Kastelik just reminded me of the fourth line and how I feel like the fourth line just isn't it right now. Like, they're just not playing that well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Angus Crookshank scored again today in Belleville, so I would really love to see that kid get an opportunity. I think that he had a really good camp. Obviously, we highlighted a lot of his performances in the rookie camp and throughout training camp. So might be time for the Crooker. And friend of the show,
it was a nice goal. Yeah, friend of the show. We love Crooker. I'm still on the give Sokolov a chance before Crooker, just because Crooker missed a full season last year. I'd like to just keep him in Belleville. If he's playing good, just keep him going with those top 6 minutes and keep him going consistently. And Sokolov, I feel like, has put the work in and deserves it. He's got a little more size and pro experience than Crooker has, but both friends of the show, both are playing really good this season. I would love for either of those guys. I mean, with Matthew Joseph out 2 to 3 weeks now's the time to do this.
There's going to be some opportunity there, and
I
feel like Parker Kelly probably, if I was going to, point out one guy I thought had a tougher performance between of the forwards, probably I'll say, because I also don't think Brandstrom had a great second half of the game. No. And I know I take a bit of a beating when I jump on him too, but Parker Kelly I thought didn't have a great game tonight. I thought even on the penalty kill, they didn't allow any power play goals, but he had a few tough clearing attempts that just didn't make it out. The one specifically I'm thinking of was on the backhand where he had so much room and time and space, and he just threw a high muffin right to the point man who caught it and easy keep in and little things like that. I just feel like his speed hasn't been there and the physicality is lacking a little bit too. Although that hit that he had tonight was one big one. Did you see that one? He popped the helmet right off of I want to say it was Trennan as well. It might have been Trennan.
Oh, okay. No, I must have missed that one.
I tweeted it out, but it's he smokes him along the half wall in the offensive zone and the helmet goes popping off and everything. It was a really big hit.
Well,
But
that's what you
other
want
than
to see
that,
from him. But
that's what you
like,
want to see from him, right? That's the kind of energy driving play that he can do. But that was the only real highlight from him tonight when I thought there was the negatives outweighed the positives in his game tonight.
yeah, and I mean, if you're the Sens or a Senators fan, you don't want to see a third line of Tyler Mott, Dylan Gambrell, and Parker Kelly. Like,
Nah.
I would argue you don't even really want to see that as your fourth line, like, to be honest. So that bottom six is looking very bare, almost no offensive upside, really, other than Brass. So it is time to give either Igor Sokolov or Krukchenko, or you know what? If they want to keep those guys down there developing and it's keeping consistent ice time while they're hot, I wouldn't have an issue with a guy like Jake Lucchini or Rourke Chartier getting a couple games in the NHL, especially Rourke Chartier. That guy's been scoring goals at a good pace in Belleville. And Jake Lucchini, he's been a epic Belleville Senator since he arrived over in Laval, although
Yeah, that's your guy, Pilsy.
I mean, he led Belleville in points after being kind of a no-name
Yeah.
last year. So I definitely am a Lucchini fan, although Belleville, I haven't checked the final score, but I think they are down real bad up against Laval. Last I checked, it was like 5-1. So
Yeah.
not the best, but they did get the shootout win in last night's game. Mad Sogard with a great performance, and Igor Sokolov had the game winner in the shootout. And I love, if you guys haven't seen this, go to Twitter. I forget, I think it was Belleville that posted it. Igor Sokolov coming in on the shootout, and Laval, the Bell place there, is just booing the crap out of him. And he scores, and he does the old, what's that?
Let me hear
What
you.
are we hearing? What was that? Was it old booze? I love Igor for that. He's a guy that definitely likes to keep things going up there. So
He does.
one more thing we need to talk about in this game is who was that Austin Watson we saw in that fight? I think he landed more punches in that fight than he has all season in a fight. Like,
Yeah.
Austin Watson is just, he's a hugger and he just hangs on for dear life in fights. But I don't know if it was because he was back in his old stomping grounds and he wanted to give his grandfather something to cheer about. But he was on a whole different level in this fight. Like, I was counting, Martian. I think he landed 6 or 7 punches.
Yeah.
Lazan, I believe it was, he didn't have a damn chance in that one. Wow, what a fight for Waddy.
I know, like, I wonder what that is with him because he doesn't seem to throw a lot of punches in his usual scraps, right? So I don't know if it was because he was actually pissed off for once in a fight. I think a lot of the time he does it just for the sake of doing it because that's, kind of his job and his role. And he's the guy who should be willing to do it. He doesn't really hurt the team when he does it and he's getting taken out of the play for 5 minutes. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, you said it, but he threw probably 15 punches in that one and he came out with the W. So maybe that's the new technique he needs to go with. Cause that was, and I think you're right about, I didn't even click for me until now that, as a former Nashville Predator and being drafted there and everything, maybe a little money on the board action, maybe he wanted to give it a little extra go. So, but yeah, really good fight for him. I hope he continues to fight like that because those are the kind that you watch and it gets the blood going, it gets the heart racing. It's fun.
Yeah, definitely fun. And I mean, don't forget, Nashville drafted Watson in the first round. I forget what draft that was. But
it was so long ago too.
It was a long time ago, 2010
I think,
as our producer tells us. And he's still on that contract Nashville gave him. Like, he's still, like, the Nashville ties are still kind of deep there for Waddy. So you'll love to see that from him. And this was a game, I feel like, we called it a gotta win game. We didn't put the must win label on this just because it seemed like it's a gotta win game. You gotta win it for the dads. And it seemed like the slide was really happening here. So getting this win and just taking a look at the schedule now, Ross and I labeled this week as kind of a big week for the Sens morale here. We talked about readjusting our expectations of this team. And one of the things we highlighted is you got to win those rivalry games. And, well, talk about it. What should be an easy dub. They got the Ducks at home on Monday. That's Wade Redden's night being honored into the Ring of Honor. I think the schedule makers did that on purpose. A nice softball opponent so that you get a W for a nice a game for Wade Redden to get his number up there in the Ring of Honor. And then, Martian, you're looking at the Montreal Canadiens and Detroit Red Wings. excuse me, they got to win these games up against those teams. Eh?
Couple
Like,
more gotta
especially
win.
a couple more gotta wins. Yeah, no, we labeled the Montreal game as a must win, and we did that well in advance because it's the first time they're playing the Canadians. Canadians are having way more success than the Ottawa Senators are, and that's a game. It's the first matchup between these two teams. There's got to be some heated emotions there for the Sens because,
Oh yeah.
like, it's crazy that Montreal is doing better than this team right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is crazy. They need more. I wish they would have more rivalry games early in the year to kind of get the team going and the camaraderie.
Right.
I feel like comes out. I mean, it might be good timing though, because the Sens are starting to play a lot better and they should be able to handle Montreal without too much of a problem. I think. But yeah, that would be nice to see them go on a bit of a home streak here. I think that I'll probably try to make it out to a game or two during this little homestand. I know I've been kind of holding off a bit. I know last week I didn't get to any, but yeah, I think maybe I'd like to get out there. I am recovering from the old vid, so we'll see. But yeah, I think with a little negative test, I'll get my way out there.
Time to get back on the streets, Martian. The streets need you, and
Yeah.
I love this. This is classic Sens fans. Like we just mentioned the Habs for a second, and it's like no, the playoffs are out of reach. The tank is what it is, but this game, the first matchup up against the Habs, Sens fans are fired up for this. We must win, says Steve G. And hopefully you can go back to your work buddies in Montreal, Steve, and you can hang a big old W over them. But it is sad. I forget who mentioned it. Oh, Will Scott mentioned it. No Brendan Gallagher for this game, which is too bad because I think that would get the juices flowing as everybody hates Brendan Gallagher. So that would just pump things up a little bit more here.
Yeah, I mean, I hate him too. I don't even know him.
Welcome to the club. Yeah,
I
don't know him that well either, to be honest.
Let's just all agree to boo the crap out of him that game when
no, he's out, Martian. That's the
sorry,
issue.
I missed that. My bad.
Yeah, he's injured, so we're not going to have
we're
that.
We're going to find someone new to hate. Oh no.
And Martian, come on, man. Joe Bell is always here. He's
okay,
always
good.
helping us
I
out.
haven't seen the comments rolling in. I was wondering where he was. There he is.
Our guy Joe is always around. We love and appreciate Joe Bell. He's always reminding everyone to throw up some thumbs up and hit likes for us. So we appreciate that, Joe. Martian, the Ottawa Senators get a win for the first time in Nashville since 2014. Now they go back home. You get some easier matchups in the Ducks and the Habs. How are we feeling here? I know you put out a tweet a little while ago with the Ted Lasso Believe poster and giving it a quick smack there. What are your expectations for this Ottawa Senators team now? Because you must have kind of had to take a look in the mirror. Maybe when you're in the shower, you're having those shower thoughts and you're thinking, what do I expect from the Sens now? Where are you at?
I expect them to get back into the hunt. That's okay. Kind of my current expectation for them. I think that they're going to continue to maybe keep this pace that they've been on. I know 3 out of 4 points on this road trip is a good. There's thank you, producer Ross, for bringing that up. You got to believe. That's what we are here for as fans. If they don't have us believing in them, then no one is, and then what's the point? So let's get on the wagon again. I think that lately they've been playing much better, and the pace of points and wins has been way more tolerable than November. December's looking good so far. So it's fun. It's good. Let's keep it going. My expectations aren't extremely high for them. They've been lowered since the beginning of the year, but I think that it's going to be a more enjoyable season as we continue to go on here than it was last year.
Yeah, and like where I'm at is I don't really care about the playoffs because I unfortunately don't believe
that they can make the
playoffs. They're too far out. Like talking about a Sens fan, playoffs? What playoffs? I don't think they have a chance to get back in, which is okay. I'm gonna accept it, but also I'm not down for the tank. I don't want to tank. This team's been tanking, and we don't need to do that anymore. I just want to be able to have fun storylines, get excited for wins. But this is kind of, I guess, a decent place to be if you're a Sens fan. You're not trying to tank too hard. You're not going balls to the wall for playoffs. You're just hoping for entertaining hockey and improvement and some light at the end of the tunnel, which I think this team is starting to show here. So that's where I'm at. And Hey, we got over 150 people in the Postcast here. Yeah, Eric, the Gucci Mane of the Postcast. Eric's been popping off here. We appreciate that. We appreciate all you guys. And Producer Ross, I don't know if you have time to chime in here, but any last thoughts from you? No time to chime in. Winnipeg Radio needs Ross on the updates here. But I don't know what. I feel like I asked you this, but no, I'll reword it so it's a little different. So the matchups, you got Ducks and Habs at home and Detroit Red Wings on the road. What record are you expecting out of those 3 games for that this week, Martian? We'll wrap up with that.
3-0, baby. 3-0.
All
Let's
right.
go a little heater here. And if you got to believe, Pilsy, that's what it's all about, buddy. So 3-0. These are 3 beatable teams. The Sens are supposed to be better. Let's go. I'm not buying into them being completely out of it here. I think they can rip off a nice little stretch. I believe so. 3-0, Pilsy, book it, baby.
I love it. I'll be a little more cautious. I'll go 2-0-1.
Shocker.
Yeah, I know. Classic me. I think the Red Wings will give them a hard game, and I think that one might go to OT, maybe even shootout. But definitely, I think up against the Ducks, if you can't win that, I mean. Yeah. What are we doing here? So that one, you got to win. The Habs game, the chat has said it. We've mentioned it. It is a must-win game. So those are going to be some good home games. Guys, get some boots on the ground. I saw some people were putting in the chat they're going to have boots on the ground. Okay, no, one more thing before we wrap up here. I'm the worst at leaving conversations and saying goodbye and stuff. But Martian, I feel like this is a good softball for you to hit out of the park. How awesome is it having Bruce Garriock boots on the ground? I mean, we have reached that level in Sens Twitter.
Yeah, Bruce on the ground. That's what I call it. BOTG. Yeah, I know, it's cool. I love that he loves it. And I mean, those socks, man, those are loud socks for Bruce. You know, he's usually pretty calm with the suits that he selects. I think maybe he should get a little louder with the suits and bring those socks out and Bruce on the
what
ground.
I want to see, Martian, is he used to go crazy with the bow ties. Get back into some fun bow ties. That used to be his thing.
You know, I've never been a huge fan of the bow tie. You know, I feel. I mean, for him, I like it. I just mean in general, I think that is kind of like I don't know. I don't love it.
I like a classic black one. Like if you're going just black suit, white shirt, black bow tie, just a nice clean look. I like that
James
once in a
Bond.
while.
Yeah, go for like the James Bond look, or if you get that classic like penguin wedding party kind of look, that's fine. Yeah. I'm cool with it then. Just like I don't know, the loud bow ties and things, I think that's a little too much for me. But no, I mean, getting the boots on the ground from Bruce is great. I hope more media and more of the heavy hitters around the league or around Sens land start maybe getting more involved. It's a fun, easy thing you can do when you're in the building, right? Just send a photo of your feet. You don't have to, follow the criteria that I like to hold the standard to with all the good people. And it's one of my more fun things that we've kind of started here with this. So the boots on the ground. Home games are getting really hard to keep up with.
Yeah, you got your hands full.
We've been talking about it. Yeah, like I like to put my heart and soul into each rating that I give for the boots on the ground. So I like to take my time and usually cap out that character limit that Twitter gives us and try to get as many words in there as I can with my critiques. But it's getting hard for the home games because I get a lot. Like I mean, you guys are getting them too. Obviously, it's I mean, we get like maybe 30 sometimes for those home games, which is that's a lot of typing.
It's awesome. So keep them coming. Just to catch up with people in the group chat, Ross is kind of filling everyone in. Hannah, we're sorry. I don't think we can get you a Sens Central shirt in Japan. When we signed on with our company, Gator Promotions, we did not inform them that we need to be sending stuff to Japan, but maybe we can make something work. I don't know. We'll see if we can get that for you. And people asking, when is Mark Mathot coming back on the show? He is coming back on Monday. We already have a time booked. He was down and out a bit after his vacation, but he's fired up to get back in it here. And people are saying we got to do intermission shows. You guys, if you guys love the content,
I'll do it.
If we can get the sponsorship, I think maybe that's something that could be in the works. Although we're already pumping out lots of content, but if you guys keep eating it up, we'll keep filling your plates.
You know what would be so hard about that for us is we cannot stay on a time limit, and so we'd end up talking 5 minutes into the period. Like we would need to have a hard cutoff, but That would be the hard thing. That's where you and I would need Ross to drive.
We would need literal like alarms. Like alarms are sounding as that time period's coming up because Matthew says he's going to sponsor us. So that's
or maybe
great.
I'll start a shower cast, Pillsy. I'll just do my intermission showers.
Audio only.
Audio only.
Yeah, but as I'm really trying to wrap up here, I mentioned it's impossible for me to wrap up. Eric says passing the hat to get you guys full time. That would be great as we're working on that. But we have fun here regardless. We love doing the postcast. Thank you to all you guys who are following along with the postcast. This is what it's all about. The Locked On Senators podcast. We're trying to bring people together. We're trying to have a community. There he goes. Eric gets the hat passing around. It's like the hat in church. Put a couple bucks in if you feel you can. There's no pressure to do it, but we do appreciate that. As our producer Ross says, let's get some Go Sens Go in the chats. Capital Go Sens Go. None of this lowercase Go Sens Go that I've been giving out lately. Go Sens Go. This has been the Postcast presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and our good friends over at the Glebe Central Pub. Your Ottawa Senators get a 3-2 win over the Nashville Predators in front of their dads. That is how this one ends. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll be back with the Locked On Senators podcast on Monday with Mark Mathot. It's your team every day.